Welcome to the channel, and welcome to this narrative game of Warhammer 40,000 9th edition between the Drukhari and the Fulminators. I am Say Hi Paul, in association with DeploymentZone.tv. The Drukhari have been causing havoc through this sector in Ultramar, intent on attracting the attention of the new Mon-Keigh Primaris Marines in order to capture them and take them to the fighting pits and laboratories of Commorrogh as prizes. Well, they've got the first part of their wish. They have the attention of the Emperor's finest. Will this be a Drukhari raid? A successful, let's say, shopping trip? Or will the wrath of the Emperor's finest come down upon them, and will they rue the day that they sought to attract the attention of the Adeptus Astartes? So, before we dive into all the delicious narrative in lots of detail, a bit of the usual housekeeping, which regular members of the channel will be familiar with. So, for anyone who hasn't seen my battle reports before, anyone who's new to the channel, my videos have a certain style to them. It's very much a come and join me in my garage for a game of 40k on a Friday evening kind of vibe. Production values are low, very little editing. I ramble really quite a lot. I go off topic. And all sorts. And I've just seen that I've placed this building with the struts on the road. Oh, so annoying. I'm going to have to change that in a minute. See, I ramble and I go off topic. All these games are played against myself, or at least certainly, I'll clarify. This game is played against myself, as lockdown restrictions in the UK are easing up. More and more I will be able to play games against actual people. And one final thing to mention is I have a number of narrative house rules. So there is a video that goes through all of these somewhere on the channel if you want to know the reasons behind it, but to keep it brief, I don't apply a plus or minus one limit on dice roll modifiers. I allow characters to charge with units. So if a character or characters are within coherency of a unit and they're both going to charge the same target or targets, I make one dice roll and they either both succeed or both fail. Then everything goes back to normal. I don't use command point rerolls, and I allow the same strategy to be used more than once in any given phase. This one will come into effect. I let there be multiple uses of ignore damage abilities because, you know, you've paid for them both, so you get them both as far as I'm concerned. But my most important narrative rule is I apply what I like to call narrative common sense. If something's happening in the game and I think, hang on, I don't think this is quite right, or this doesn't feel right, I change it to suit the narrative that we are trying to play out. And if that lot doesn't sound like your cup of tea, then this probably isn't for you. Right, you still there? Okay. In fact, I'm going to fix that building. It's annoying me. Right, fixed it. So this is the third part in a 3-part series called Real Space Raid. The Commorrogh is a buzz with news of this new breed of Mon-Keigh. This is set shortly after Bersaris Crawl unleashes the Primaris Marines on the galaxy. And there are scores and scores and scores of raiding parties sent out, and they all hope to acquire some of these new, bigger, stronger, faster Mon-Keigh for the arenas and the laboratories of Commorrogh, as mentioned earlier. And this particular raiding party, the Archon in charge of it, has been his plan has basically been to linger longer than he would otherwise have done in a particular sector of space, which happens to be in the 500 worlds of Ultramar. Ultramar. I can't even talk. You know what I mean. And he has been doing so. He's been attacking Drukhari, Astra Militarum. He's been attacking Adeptus Mechanicus, and he has now finally attracted so much attention that a small section of the Indomitus Crusade has been routed to this sector to find and root out this insidious force. So a Demi-Company of the Fulminators has been sent to deal with them. Now, what we are yet to determine, and that the result of the game will determine this, as to whether this desolate, uninhabited, pretty much dead imperial planet that this fight is set on, whether this place is where the Drukhari have successfully lured the Space Marines into their web, into their trap, or whether this is where the Drukhari were laying low and the Adeptus Astartes have found them and are launching a lightning raid to wipe them out. So, hang on to your seats, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. We've got 2 new codices, both chocked full of super powerful stuff, and lots of lovely narrative flavour splashed around it all. It's like I'm doing a recipe. So what are we playing out? Again, it is open war cards. And we are playing Incisive Attack. So, we rolled off and started placing objectives. There are 3 on the board. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. They have to be placed in no man's land. Can't be placed in a deployment zone. Deployment zones are going to be here, Drukhari, and here, Space Marines. At the start of each battle round, one of these objectives becomes the active objective. We randomise with a D3 to see which one it is. And at the end of the round, the active objective is worth 2 points and the others are worth a point each. This is all about simulating the ebb and flow of battle and changing priorities and changing circumstance and the army's ability to react to them. So it could be that it's that objective all game, or all of a sudden it could switch over here, and actually this could be the important part of the battlefield, and what's happening over there is much less important. It's really worth mentioning that the Drukhari won the role to place the objectives first, and went with this one. It's relatively close to where the Space Marines will be, but it's reasonably blocked from a line of sight point of view, and the Drukhari force is going to want to push up. It also prevented the Imperial player from placing anything in the open around here. So the Imperial player put something in the open over here instead, where they should be easily able to get to it in the first battle round. And they have some good lines of fire in multiple directions, not giving the Drukhari many places to hide. The Drukhari then dithered between here and here. This is a better place. It's more strung out, and it means that the speed of the Drukhari will come into play more because the 2 furthest apart objectives would be further apart, and the Space Marines' slowness would hamper them. However, it would just be 2 objectives too close together next to the Space Marine line. In turn 1 or 2, they'd be all over here, and then have the Drukhari would have an uphill battle to try and claw them off. So instead, we went for this one. It's still got some decent line of sight obstruction to try and minimise the Space Marine extreme firepower. But yes, so that's the objective deployment. And the twist is champion. Both sides pick a character, and that character becomes the army's champion. You increase the strength and toughness by 1, and the attacks and wounds by 2. So these armies are being led by and or contain very powerful individuals who are super choppy. So, don't think I've missed anything there. If I have, I'll either remember it or I won't. So let's go on to, not deployment, the armies. Let's look at the armies. And here we have roughly 2,250 points of Fulminators. So this represents a Demi-Company. So it is... in fact, I should probably say, you probably noticed from my recent videos, I had been doing a lot of low-angle shots, for the sort of deep and immersive low-angle shots, for which I've been sat down. On the feedback from some of the guys from Deployment Zone, when I've sent people pictures and gone, which do you think would make the best sort of front tag thumbnail picture for YouTube? They go, oh no, these ones, these low shots, much more immersive. So I haven't been doing those, but I fell over the chair I was using last time and totaled a bunch of models on my shelf. So I'm not doing that anymore. You're getting slightly higher angle model shots. Right then, so Demi-Company structure. A standard Space Marine company has 6 squads of... Well, back in the old day, they were tactical squads. Now they are line troops. So in a Primaris chapter, they're Intercessors. You would have in a company of 20 Assault Marines. So these are now close support troops in the Primaris army. And you would have 20 Devastators, which are Fire Support Marines in a Primaris army. So, a Demi-Company is the sort of currency of an Astartes chapter. And it, as you might imagine, is half the company. So 3 line squads, 1 close support squad, 1 heavy fire squad. Or, sorry, let me rephrase that. 30 close support Marines, 30 line Marines, 10 close support Marines, and 10 fire support Marines, which is what we have here. Also, company structure-wise, you would have a captain, a chaplain, 2 lieutenants, an apothecary, and a standard bearer, as well as a number of dreadnoughts and other multivarious bits and bobs. So, again, we have half the company. We have the captain, 1 of the LTs, and the apothecary with this half. And somewhere else with the other 50 Marines is Chaplain Abraxas and the other lieutenant and the company standard bearer. So, what are we looking... Oh, Fulminators, first of all. So, Fulminators were formed during the Scouring. Their numbers were taken from Terran Guards and then squirreled away in Belisarius calls Secret Cave of Space Marines. And yeah, so these guys are 8,000 years old. They've been asleep for a long time. They refer to these Primaris Marines as the Awakened. So these have each been individually programmed via Hypnomat whilst they've grown to fulfill their role. Unlike a normal Marine that would start off as a scout, then become a Devastator, then a Tactical Marine, then an Assault Marine, or whichever particular order a given chapter does it, because it isn't the same in every chapter. And they would learn the skills and advance through each one. These guys haven't done that. These guys have been programmed to be Line Marines, and they know how to do it. These guys have been programmed to be Fire Support Marines, and they know how to do that. Now, that gives a little bit of inflexibility. That loses a little bit of the variability, the depth and breadth of knowledge. And in time, as these chapters, these Ultima founding chapters have take casualties, and they get new sort of live and awake novitiates. That changes, but in the time period this is set, these guys have all been awakened and they each know how to do one job. This guy knows how to captain. That's what he does. The Fulminators also are they bred for this job, or do they acquire this information? Well, their gene seed is Ultramar gene seed, but they are divergent, as you would expect. I've always taken bolter fusillades and preferred enemy heretics with them, and obviously that's what I'm taking today, because I'm not changing the preferred enemy just because they're not fighting their preferred enemy. That would be silly. But I'm just wondering to myself whether, because they knew they were going to be scouring heretics, or at least at the time they were built, I don't imagine Belisarius envisaged this waiting 8,000 years. Is that programming or is that learning? I think that's learning. I think that's what they've learned over the initial years of the Indomitus Crusade. And maybe these guys haven't learned that just yet. Maybe this is one of their very early assignments. But either way, it's irrelevant, because that's the trait they have. I've chosen for the army, obviously, and that's what they have, and that will have no effect on the game. But bolter fusillades, reroll 1s to hit with bolt weapons. So what else are we looking at? I'll come to the characters last. So we have 30 line marines, 3 units of 10 intercessors. These are older models, so they haven't got any special weapons on the sergeants. A couple of the models in each unit have got the underslung grenade launcher. It's WYSIWYG, so whoever's got one has got one. I think there's one unit that's got 2 in. There you go, this unit's got 2 in. And these others have 1 each, I think. Yeah, there we go. So, 30 line marines. Over here, we have the 10 close support marines. So these have been, this one unit has been split into 3 units. Their assignment has been as 3 separate units, as 2 outrider squads and a 4-man Inceptor squad. The squad leaders of each being breveted a sergeant role in those squads, and they revert to being normal line marines in when the squad acts as a whole 10-man squad in a different circumstance, as 10 assault intercessors. Maybe the sergeants get their extra attacks and their extra leadership. Maybe that's part of their programming kicking in. Maybe that's they act in that role, therefore they have that level of inspiration on the others with them, and maybe the freedom to act and be giving the orders rather than following them. Maybe that individually gives them more freedom to dictate the flow of combat, and therefore they get more attacks. Don't know. Don't know if I've convinced myself with that. Answer on a postcard. Then, excuse me. Then over here we have the 10 fire support marines split into a 7-man Hellblaster squad, and 3 marines have been separated off to be, I always get Eliminators and Eradicators mixed up. The super melty guys. So that's those 10-man squads. They have a repulsor as transport, bedecked with a memory-clogging amount of weaponry. Fragstorm grenade launchers, Crackstorm grenade launchers, Storm bolters, Icarus missile pods, autocannons, las talons, heavy bolters, Gatling guns. Yeah. They can transport 10 regular Primaris Marines or each modelling Gravis armor characters. Then, before we go to the characters, last but no means least, the Dreadnought. So maybe this particular Dreadnought is the person inside isn't someone who's died early on in battle. Maybe it was someone who was injured during the training process or the growth process. Maybe their biologics were fine, but it was their nervous system was fine, but some of their biologics malfunctioned. And Belisarius Cruel recognised the type of mind that suited interment in a Dreadnought, and And so did it. So maybe this Marine has never fought as a Marine before, only ever as a Dreadnought. Maybe that's all he knows. Interesting. And now we have the three characters. So we have the captain in Gravis armor. His warlord trait is the Imperium sword. He's a get close and choppy captain, which means he rerolls charges, and if he's charged or performs a heroic intervention, he gets +1 strength and +1 attack. He has the relic, the Vox Spiritum, which is an experimental extended range Vox caster. It sounds very dodgy from the description. It sounds like Crawl is playing with the something esoteric in which he should not be dabbling. However, what this does is increases his aura effects by 3 inches. So the range of his aura becomes 9 inches. The LT on his left has a relic. He has this cost a command point, the Bellicose Bolt Rifle, which is 2 foot range, assault 4, strength 5, -1, 2 damage. So he's a shooty lieutenant. And then here we have the company apothecary. No, I've not upgraded him to the chief apothecary because he isn't the chief apothecary. He's the company's apothecary. I will probably I have got another apothecary model somewhere. If I do another one for the Fulminators, I may do some of the headquarters staff and maybe some of the other company bits and bobs here and there. I may do some of the command characters like the chapter master and so on. But no, not today, not here. That's not what they've got. So that is circa 2,250 points of Fulminators. Let's go and have a look at the Drukhari. So here is circa 2250 of Drukhari. And this represents all of my painted Drukhari, hence the very specific points limit. Okay, so what are we looking at? Well, if you've watched the previous vids, you've probably seen most of these units on the table before, but not all together. I'm trying to think if there's one I haven't used. I don't think I've used Drazar. Or possibly the Incubi. Drazar and the Incubi might be the only ones you've not seen yet. Okay, and of course, these haven't got out of a venom. Oh, they have. They did get out of the venom last time. Or more to the point, the venom got shot down. Okay, so we are looking on this occasion. It isn't a real space raiding party. It is 3 patrols because in a real space raiding party, you have to use one single detachment. And with my 3 troops, the biggest I can go with is a battalion, and the limit on characters in a battalion is 3. And as you can see, I have 4. 1 for each for the Cabal, the Coven, and the Cult. But I want to use Drazar. He's so pretty and so choppy, and he's one of my painted models. I'm doing that. You see it building up. You see, finishing on the big game. So that's why it is 3 patrols. Now, 3 patrols does represent the equivalent of a raiding force, except the Archon doesn't get the raiding force mastermind ability, which, is fine. It's not like he's going to get out of his venom anyway. Unless there's some easy pickings. So, as I mentioned, we have a Cabal, a Coven, and a Cult. The Cabal of the Flayed Skull. These guys are aerial masterminds. It's the second biggest Cabal in Commorrogh. And they are, as I said, aerial specialists. They have fleets of flying vehicles, and they attract lots of scourges, and they partner very nicely with Hellions and Reavers. Lots of witches are drawn to them. I think they make very nice. The Court of the Red Grief, which we'll get onto in a minute, I think are a very nice sort of a partnership, ethos-wise and also stats-wise, which is good. They've done that very well in the book. So their obsession bonuses are flying vehicles get +2 to their move, +2 inches to their move, and shots that come from flying vehicles or models embarked on flying vehicles ignore light cover when shooting. Probably not going to come up on this battlefield, but you never know. Maybe if some Marines are behind these barricades, it might. It might. That's their obsession. The Prophets of Flesh. What's their thing? Ah, yes, their thing. The multi-wound models regain a wound at the start in each command phase, so that will apply to the Taloses and the Homunculus, and also any roll to wound of 1 to 3 always fails against them unless the weapon is strength 8 or higher. This particular covenant has brought some mercenaries in the form of mandrakes to sneak around on the ground, which is where these guys are going to be. They want more. I mean, if some mandrakes pop up near the enemy and start destroying their souls, it's going to make their stroll up the battlefield so much easier. So that's why. Then over here we have the Cult of the Red Grief. These, as I mentioned, these are also these are aerial acrobatists. They never deign to set their foot on the ground unless it is to deliver the killing blow, and then they leap back into their transport. There's also a stratagem for that, which is super cool. Their bonuses, they get to reroll charge rolls. No. Yes. Reroll charge rolls, yes. And they add 2 inches to advance rolls, which is nice. The witches also get combat drugs. Now you can it's a list of bonuses that they get, and you can pick one of them before the battle or randomly roll 2. And on this occasion, I've randomly rolled 2 for each of the units, which I'll go through now. So the witch... before I do... So the witches always struggle with heavy armour, getting through power armour and other things, which is why they have contracted with the Incubi and Drazar so they can deal with the heavy armoured infantry. And they will be in this this Venom. So, try to balance my notebook on the table without knocking things off. There we go. Right, so the Succubus rolled Hypex, which is +2 move, and Serpentin, which is +1 weapon skill, which won't really come into it, I don't think. The Witches rolled Adrenalite, +1 attack on the charge, and Painbringer, +1 toughness. So these guys are so hopped up, they don't notice when they've got big holes in them. They'll probably die or collapse after the battle, but they will keep going during the fight. Or maybe Painbringer is like a super coagulant, so their wounds just close. Ah, interesting. The Reavers... I'm going to end up jumping about. There's a lot of housekeeping to go through on Drukhari, so I apologise. The Reavers rolled Serpentin for +1 weapon skill, and Splintermine, +1 ballistic skill, and +1 leadership, which is quite nice. These guys tend to suffer from leadership because if 3 or 4 of them get killed, the rest often run off. And they've got some shooty guns, so that kind of works. And the Hellions rolled Adrenalite, +1 attack on the charge, and Grave Lotus, +1 strength. Right, so what... fail. So what are we looking at in each of them? So we've got an Archon, and the Archon has... I need the notebook again. The Archon has... probably I should say first, I've spent a command point on Alliance of Agony, which is a special one that you do before the battle, whereby if you have an Archon as your warlord and you also have a Homunculus and a Succubus in the army, they all get a warlord trait. So the Archon, his warlord trait is Famed Savagery. It's the special for the Cult of the Red Grief, the Cult of the Flayed Skull, the Cabal of the Flayed Skull even, and gives them +1 attack and +1 strength. Now in this game, I've opted not to go for their special obsession-based relics. So the relics are all off the normal chart, but the warlord traits are all the special ones. So the relic he has got is a Djinn Blade, which gives him +2 attacks, +1 strength, -3, and D3 damage. But on the roll of a 1 in each fight phase, it might do immortal wounds as the spirit inside lashes back out. He has his Court of the Archon, his trusted bodyguards. I will go through what they do as and when it becomes relevant, because they will probably spend the whole game in this venom. Then we've got 10 Cabalite warriors. It's all the shooty in there. There's nothing special on the Cyberite. There's a splitter cannon and a shredder in there. And they ride in the Raider, which has splinter axe and grizzly trophies. And a Dark Lance. We then have 10 Scourges that have all sorts of different weapons. There's a blaster, a Dark Lance, a Haywire blaster, and something else. And the rest have Shard Carbines. The plane has disintegrator cannons and missiles. And that's it for this little lot. The Homunculus Coven. The individual Taloses, one has got chain flails and a twin liquefy gun and a haywire blaster. The other has a stinger pod and 2 big hitty fists that I can't remember the name of. The racks have got a couple of the Aganothist has got a scissor hand and a liquefy gun. There's also a liquefy gun and an os factor in there. And the Homunculus has its warlord trait is Diabolical Soothsayer, which gives you a choice between +1 toughness and wound or +1 move and attack. I've gone for +1 toughness and wound. His relic is the Nightmare Doll, which gives him a 4+ shrug, because the doll will manifest the injuries rather than his body, which, as per my house rules, will stack with Inured to Suffer. He has a shrug anyway, it will stack with that, so he'll be pretty hard to kill. Then over here in the Witch detachment, Witch? Dregs are in the Incubi there, stuff's all standard, nothing's custom there. The Succubus, her warlord trait is Hyper Swift Reflexes, which means she can never be hit on a roll of 1, 2, or 3 in melee. And her relic is the Triptych Whip, which is a poison 2+ weapon, -3, 2 damage, and +3 attacks. She is a beast with that. And she is the Army Champion. Should have mentioned that with the Fulminators. The Army Champion is the captain. So he gets these bonuses as well. +1 strength, +1 toughness, +2 attacks, +2 wounds. We've then got 9 Reavers. The Arena Champion has a power sword, wherever he is. Yeah, there he is. There's 3 Heat Lances, 3 Cluster Caltrops, 15 Hellions with a Stun Claw and a Mind Phase pod. He's got an extra gun on his skyboard, I can't remember what it's called. And the Raider has chain snares and a disintegrator cannon. And that, I think, is all of it. Again, anything I've forgotten, I will probably go through as we go along. Let's go on to deployment. Here we are after deployment, and I am super pleased with how this is looking. I think it looks so cool. I mean, I think it looks so cool. I don't know if it comes across on the telly, but... Right. What did we do? Oh, word. Where's the start? Right, well, we ended up with... No, the order is unimportant. So we've got a unit of tactical marines and some outriders on the side here for the marines to circle round in this area. The... whatchamacallit... The fire support marines, led by the lieutenant, have taken the high ground. So even a little guy with a laser sword jumping up is going to be no match for these guys. So the Eliminators are going to move forward here and get quite a commanding view of these objectives. And the Hellblasters are going to threaten anything that tries to come through the middle. It may not be the most effective place to have them later on in the game, but they can always move there. Then going up the gut for the Space Marines, we have... this isn't going to work. Oh, wrong angle. Right, so we have the Captain, 10 Intercessors, the Dreadnought, and the... Who's or what's it's? Apothecary. There's going to be a lot of violence going on in the middle there, and these guys are probably going to be key to securing one or other of those objectives. So, it's up the gut with fire support and flanking support. Where it's a little bit more is over here on this flank. We have the Repulsor and one unit of Outriders have designs on this objective. However, the Marines will prefer to concentrate their efforts over there because this is isolated and outside of the line of fire to the other objectives. For a similar reason, the Drukhari aren't that keen on it either. So that Repulsor has got 10 Intercessors in it, and the 4 Inceptors are in Deep Strike Reserve. Now, the Drukhari have an awful lot in reserve. Command point was spent on Screaming Jets to put the Venom with the Incubi and Drazar in Deep Strike. So that will scream down from the sky and they will disgorge. Command point was spent on Webway Assault, or whatever it's called, to put the racks. So the racks will deploy by Deep Strike as well. The Scourges and the Mandrakes also deploying by Deep Strike. The other units are in vehicles. So I've opted, I know technically you're meant to do this on the army roster, but meh. I've opted to put the Talos as a single unit for once. I've not done that before. That'll be some fun. And the Homunculus is accompanying them. He can put wounds back on them, and he buffs them. So that's that. Sweeping in from this flank, we have the Raider with the Witches in, and the Reavers. They are going to either circle around that way, or go straight on that way, depending on what happens. The Archon and his Cabalites are basically hiding in the lee of that building from the heavy weapons, although those Eliminators are going to be a problem relatively soon. They need to die painfully. Well, these all need to die painfully. That is, in fact, the goal, but they need to die soon. Over here, not entirely what to do with this objective. Don't want to just give it to the Marines, but it's exposed to long-range arcs of fire there. It's covered by the Hellblasters, and there's nowhere around here you can really hide. So, in theory, the Cabalites can come this way, especially if they need to get out of line of fire of the Eliminators. I really need to look up and work out whether they're called Eliminators or Eradicators. But the Hellions now... I mean, there's 30 wounds there for some unknown reason, but they're just going to go up the gut onto Objective 2, dodge the bullets left and right, and pounce on the Marines that come out. This Planio is... or can go in any direction as it does its strafing run. So now I've gone and got a token in my hand, which I forgot to pick up a moment ago. Let's roll to see which objective is active before we roll to see who go. Oh, which order did we do that in? It's the start of the battle round. So we must roll to see who goes for... Does it matter? I'm going to roll for the objective after we know who's going first. Right. Yes, I think that's more in keeping with the theme of the game. Fulminators and Drukhari. Now, does the Drukhari want to go first or second? We're quite well hid, but the Mon-Keigh will get a foothold. Now, I wonder if we should just let him come. We'll lose the Talos if we let him come. We might be able to get up there and do some damage to those Eliminators and those Hellblasters if we don't. Ooh, pin him in place or let him come. Well, this is a trap we've laid for the Mon-Keigh, so I think we go first. Yes. Not going to do the game-winning tactical better thing. Right, so let's roll a d3 and see which objective is the active one in Battle Round 1. That's a 4, so it's objective 2, which is this one, the one that is out in the open. Okay, Drukhari, turn 1. Okay, here we are after the movement phase, and oh man, it looks so cool. Sorry, getting all wrapped up in the coolness of my own stuff, which isn't cool in itself, but standing here looking at this is so cool. Anyway, right then, so what's happened? The Hellions have moved onto this objective. They have been ordered by the Archon in no uncertain terms to stay there and to hold that T-junction because the Mon-Keigh are going to make a push for it. Well, they're only holding it insofar as they're out of charge range. Well, it's an 11.5-inch charge, and with a grav pulse on this thing, they're out of range. So they are staying, but they are going to fire with their splinter pods. And who they choose? Interesting. But the Archon has also ordered the Scourges to descend and back them up and try and take out this tank. And they're also then going to put their splinter fire into this unit over here. I really wanted to do an Auspex scan, but the range of Auspex scan is 12 inches. It's only if the reinforcements arrive within 12 inches that you can do it, which I guess is to stop you dropping something into reinforcements in your back line, and there's someone over here going, but my Devastators will now last cannon you to pieces. I assume that's what it's for. The jet has flown over here. Not sure where its barrage is going to land yet. It's going to be one of these two, I am sure. And as the Eradicators, sounds like Brad, Eradicators, the sergeant's now called Bradley, was his birth name. No, not really, but it's going to help me remember it. As they've strode over this gangway, walking over the shadows cast by this planet's sun, shapes emerge from those shadows, a dark, insidious threat, who are going to try and pull their souls apart. Oh, I've just seen something. What a vertical distance. Oh, just about okay. Maybe nudge this one out a little bit. What else? That's what's happened over here. Action shot. So the Taloses, the dilemma was I could have run them and blocked the gap and not fired. There's going to be a lot of fire going down into there, and I'm just interested to see what happens. So they're going to start do they shoot their guns too. They're not on any objective at the moment, so the Witch's Raider has come over to this one, so to get ready for a charge next turn on the surviving Mon-Keigh over here. These Reavers have moved normally. Believe it or not, this is not an advanced move, it's just a regular move. And in turn 2, Power from Pain will mean I can advance and charge. But because these are Court of the Red Grief, they will get a reroll. So we will do a lot of shooting over here. Whether it bounces off this Primaris armour is another matter. I did contemplate bringing in the Incubi this turn. There's a little gap for them there. And then charging at these bikes because because that wall blocks off the infantry from being able to do an Auspex scan. But as it happens with the distance now, I've read that wouldn't make much of a difference anyway. But I decided not to play my whole hand straight away. There's lots of the game still to go, and Drukhari start strong and dwindle, so I want to have a bit of punch left for later on. The Marines are going to take a mauling this turn, but we'll see how resilient they are. So the Cabalites have moved up to take up firing positions. The intention is that we will use Never Stationary on the Archon to move over onto this objective after he has fired. And at the end of the turn, we'll be on all 3 objectives, and hopefully there will be lots and lots and lots of debilitated, not dead. We are loading our debilitating poisons rather than our killing poisons today. Oh yes, we are. But by the end, for game purposes, we hope there'll be lots and lots of dead Mon-Keigh at the end of this term. And the punchback that we get won't be quite so bad. Remains to be seen. Oh, right, where first? The agony of choice. Ooh, right, I guess the things that are only firing at one thing, those Scourges, we know exactly where they're going to fire. And to be fair, they're heading towards a mincer again. They're going to fire... if you haven't seen my game against Winters, yeah, Scourges. Mincer. So they're going to fire the anti-vehicle weapons at the repulsor and the anti-infantry weapons up at the Hellblasters. Okay, starting with the Shard Carbines, hitting on 3s. That's some good hitting. Poison weapons, 4+, hitting on... So wounding on 4s. Also, drop dice don't count. So that is 6 wounds. I'm going to do them 2 at a time because this guy's on a barrier. So 3 ups, 1 wound. I'll do 1 at a time. So that kills that guy. Then the next 2 are 1-up saves. 2-up saves even. Okay, 1 Hellblaster dies. Right, now we have... Oh, I brought the book over, but I haven't put it on the right chuffing page. Chuff, 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 chuff. Okay, a Dark Lance. It was heavy, I moved, so hitting on a 4. No, so it begins. Drukhari Haywire Blaster, D3 shots for 3. Also heavy, hitting on 4s. 2. Roll to wound. It's strength 3, but it's got a special rule for if you wound on a 4+. So, the Blaster, hitting on a 3. Strength 8, toughness 8, wounding on a 4. Yes. Minus... Blaster. Minus 4. Are they 2+? Are these guys 2+ or 3+? Need to check. This is the first one I've filmed in a few weeks. I'm losing my touch. I only need to check if I rolled a 6. But as it happens, they are 3+, so no save. D6 damage. Oh no! I'll mark that up in a second. And then last, and probably least, Heat Lance. Heavy, hitting on a 4. No! 1 shiny wound and a dead Hellblaster. Mincer fodder. So now the Hellions are opening fire at the repulsor, spending 2 command points on potent metallotoxins. So these are sort of corrosive acids and venoms that will eat through metal. So the poison rule still applies. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Saving on 3s. 2 wounds. 2 lowly wounds. 13 wounds remaining. This isn't going to the Archon's plan. So the Razor Wing jet fighter, understanding that its weapons are not geared up to taking out armour, is going to take out the Hellblasters because the Archon doesn't want to be shot. So, now, because it's Cabal of the Flayed Skull, he won't get the benefit of cover. Right, disintegrator cannons first off, hitting on 3s. Do you know what? I contemplated taking the stratagem to reroll 1s, but hey ho. Okay, strength 5, toughness 4, wounding on 3s. So that's 1 at -3, saving on a 6. No, that kills 1. Just 2 damage. Okay, splinter cannon. 2 hits. Wounding on 4s, because poison. 1 minus, I think there's a minus for this one. It's kind of -1, so saving on a 4. No, that also is 2 damage. Also kills 1. And then 3d3 from a necrotoxin missile. It is a blast weapon, so each dice is minimum a half. So 2. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, hitting on 3s. 4 hits. Poison 2+. 3 wounds. Saves to 3+. 3 fails. So that kills 1. And puts a wound on another. Moderately successful. Okay, now the Mandrake's going to fire their Bale Blast at the Eradicators. And the Eradicators are the other guys spending a command point on Unrelenting in the face of the foe, which gives them +1 armor saves on damage 1 weapons. It's a Gravis special. Hit on 3s. Ooh, that is some good hitting. Here's a tricky bit. Toughness 5. So wounding on 5s. I forgot these were toughness 5. 6s though will do mortal wounds in addition. Okay, so that's 3 mortal wounds in addition and 3 5+s. So that is a dead Eradicator from mortal wounds. And then +1 -1, these are saves of 3+. And 1 is failed. So 1 goes down to 2 wounds. So now over here, the question is who can get line of sight on what? Now, these guys they can get line of sight on the Eradicators. So we might want to try and eradicate them. I don't think anyone else can. I don't think the Raider's got the right angle. Nope. And none of these guys have either. Maybe if I were being super cheesy and saying, oh, you can fire from the tip of the ether sail. And yes, but no. So I'll leave those till last. So I've got some choices. So what I think is definitely going to happen is the venom is definitely going to... Oh, I need to check the range of it. But assuming it's in range, this venom is definitely going to fire its 2 splinter cannons at the Hellblasters. And this is probably this probably isn't the best use of a command point. We're going to do it because it's fun. We're going to use Prey on the Weak for 1 command point, firing at the Hellblasters. Because they're below half strength, can re-roll all failed hits. Assuming I read that right. I read it half an hour ago. 1 minute. Glad I checked. I did read it right. It's if the unit has lost a model, you re-roll 1s. If they're below half strength, re-roll all failed hits. And you can use it in the shooting phase or the fight phase, but it's core units only. And despite their ubiquity, Venoms are not core. I guess that's due to the amount of spamming they had in the competitive scene, because they from a competitive point of view, they needed the nerf bat. So yes, they have been battered. So just hitting on plain old 3s. Alright, made no difference, they all hit. Poison, wounding on 4+. 3 wounds. Okay, so they get no benefit for light cover because we are the Cabal of the Flayed Skull and we own the Sky Mon-Keigh filth. And -1 because of the splinter cannon, so forced to save. 2 get through and do 2 damage each. 2 more dead Hellblasters. We're now going to come to the Talos. This is... the Liquefied Gun is out of range. The Haywire cannons are going to shoot at the Dreadnought, and the Stinger Pod is going to shoot at the Intercessors. The Stinger Pod, 2d6 shots for 5. Hitting on 4s, I believe, with the Talos. 2 hits. Strength 5, toughness 3, wounding on 3s. 1 save of 3+. Yes. 2d3 shots with the Haywire Blaster. 4 shots. Haywire Blasters are heavy, and he's a monster, so it doesn't matter. Hitting on 4s. No! Okay. Right then, now the question is, do I want to wipe out the last Hellblaster? It's not like First Blood's a thing anymore. And actually, if you look at the angle of that, no, I might want to, but I wouldn't be able to either way. So splinter. Have I positioned it so I can only see the captain? Because that would be that. I kind of have, but the only reason I put the captain at the front is because it looks cool. But can I actually see them? I can't see the Marines. So I'm going to shoot the Dark Lance from the Raider at the Dread, which hits. Wounds on a 3. Wounds. Save of not that. And it's 3 plus D3 damage. For 4, -1 for Duty Eternal, Dreadnought takes 3 damage. And now leaving it on 10 wounds remaining. Now the Cabalites are going to fire everything they've got at the Intercessors. So D6 shots with a Shredder. It's blast. No, so it's not D6, is it? It's 6 because there are 10 there. So they hit on 3s. Strength 6, so wounding on 3s. 2, -1 saves of 4 plus. 2 fails. There is an Apothecary there. No shrugs. So that is 1 dead Marine. Splinter Cannon. 3 hits. Wounding on 4s, because poison. 4 wounds. -1 saving on 4s. So they're good. And then 2 shots each with splinter rifles. They count as being if you have splinter racks on your Raider, which it does, you always count as being in rapid fire range. So hitting on 3s. I really wish they'd fixed the thing where the Archon who's giving them their orders is literally right there, but they can't use his aura. But, you know, I could people say, oh, why don't you house rule it? I could house rule it, but there's so many broken things like that. Narratively broken, in a little way. Nothing big. I mean, the stuff that's up there is all the stuff that I consider to be big and broken. But if you start doing that, there's then pages of house rules and you get further and further away from the 40k rule set, which isn't good for anyone. So they were hit. So wounding on 4s because of poison. 2 wounds. All those Cabalites, 2 wounds. Saving on 3s. No, 1 more, but Apothecary. Yes, Apothecary saves 1 of them. So 1 dies, 1 takes a wound. Sorry, I did mention it earlier, but just going back a bit, after the Venom fired, a command point on Never Stationary to move it 7 inches to that objective. Now then, over here, I think the Raider with the Witches in is going to fire everything. I say everything's got 1 gun, but the passengers are within pistol range as well. So there's 3 shots with the Disintegrator Cannon, hitting on 3s. Strength 5, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. -3, saving on 6s. 1 save. Good old Martian power armor there. Kills 1. Then 8 splinter pistol shots. Hitting on 3s. Obviously, a bit of a bumpy ride. 1 wound. Saving on that. Oop, what are you doing there? You're dead. Right, now I just need to decide, maybe check a few lines of sight, what I'm doing with these bikes. I'm putting all their fire into the Eradicators, so they've sort of come up over here, fired, and then swooped down, ready for the charge. So first off, 7 shots with splinter rifles, because there are 6, but 1 is in double range. Hitting on... Oh, what was their... No, these are hitting on 2s, aren't they? Yes, they are, because of their combat drugs. So the many 1s miss. Again, Succubus is in there, but I'm quite glad that she's redirecting them with shooting. That wouldn't... Ah, no, the Succubus is wounded in the fight phase. That's perfect. Perfect. Come on, brain. What were you doing? Wounding on 4s. 2. Now, they do get the benefit of cover because these are not the Cabal of the Flayed Skull, so these will save on 2s. Yes. Okay, 3 Heat Lances. Hitting on 3s because they moved. Oh, 2 1s. Strength 8, toughness 5, winning on a 3. Yes, minus a whole bunch. But how many is a whole bunch? Heat lance -4. So it will save on a 6. No. D6, 5 damage. That melts this one to slag. And I think that is the end of my shooting phase. The Homunculus's weapons are out of range. You fired. You're fired. You fired. Yes, everyone is fired. I now need to decide where the charges are coming from and where would be really silly to charge from. So the Reavers into the Intercessors are overwatching. They did an 8 with a reroll, but overwatch first. And on 6s, obvs. 4. Strength 4, toughness 4. 3 wounds, -1, saves of 5. No. 1 dies, 1 takes a wound, and then 8 rerollable. Reroll. No. Beaten back by mass reactive rounds. Now the Mandrakes require an 11-inch charge because of the casualties removed, but they're going to try it. There's no overwatch coming in from the Eradicator. 11. Oh, did you see that? Did you see the way that bounced? No dice. Okay, so no 5 days because no one made it into combat. So I think all that remains... have I taken the Sergeant off? I have taken the Sergeant off. In which case, 2 things remain. A leadership test for him. He will fail on a 6. No. And a leadership test for the Hellblaster. He lost 6. He needs a 1. Or no, a 2 will do it. 4. Okay, so he runs. I like to think he's not running. He is succumbing to the poison that he has been infused with. And goes into a healing coma. Which actually for him is a bad outcome if the Drukhari win. So the Fulminators have moved and it looks like this. The big turn 1 aggressive push for the Drukhari only killed 10 Marines. Technically it killed 11, but one of those is feeling a lot better now, which we'll talk about in a second. And oh look, I've missed a couple of Marines. Look at them lurking in the shadows. I need to move those in a sec. So, a massive Astartes counterpunch. They are 20% down on their Marines, and that is not nearly enough to debilitate them. So, the Eradicator has come here to try and open up this Raider. We want to try and get onto this objective by charging the contents if we can. It's a long shot. The captain and his unit and the Redemptor Dreadnought marching down the middle. No advancing, they're just moving. He's going to try and charge, is what he's going to do. The Apothecary healed the guy who was injured and picked up the guy who died for a command point on Combat Revival. So that unit is at full strength. In the command phase, the Dreadnought kicked in Wisdom of the Ancients for... Oh, there's 2 versions. I can't remember the name. The Rerolly Woundy one. Rerolly Woundy, please. Then over here, the... not the Tactical Squad. The Intercessors got out and have moved into a firing position. The Outriders circling round. The Repulsor moving into a good firing position. The LT advancing, jumping down here, kind of shielded by the Repulsor, ready to put fire in with his assault weapon. I did contemplate, see I've got the Inceptors over there. I did for a while contemplate bringing them in here, partly because it's very well protected from the rest of the Drukhari army, but there's only one objective here, and I optimistically think I can take it without them, or I've got as good a chance of taking it without them. Because if I don't kill all the Hellions with shooting, I've got multiple charges I can attempt to make. And those guys are harder when they charge, not get charged. Scourges I'm ignoring for now. Yeah, so we've got the Intercessors and the other unit of Outriders around here, ready to put the hurt. We're going to have lots and lots of mass reactive rounds coming in over here. But the first thing I'm going to do is move those 2 Marines, then decide who to shoot at. Okay, so the first shots are coming from the Eradicator into that Raider. If the whole unit, i.e. the whole one of him, fires at the same target, you get 2 shots. Hitting on 3s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. Wounds. Night shield save of 5+. Did he miss because it was dark? No, he hit. He's within half range, so it's D6. So that's 5 damage. Right, coming to the... Oh no! I was going to say coming to the Dreadnought, but actually... right. I've now got the situation where I'd quite like to fire the Dreadnought at the Taloses, but I need to blow up this Raider. I could fire the last Talon at the Raider, but I've got to work out where I'm putting all the rest of the guns if I do that. Which actually, let's be honest, they're all going into the Hellions. And the last Talon's going into this Raider. Okay, so let's do the last Talon into the Raider. For 2 shots. 2 hits. Strength. Not quite double, so 3s. 2 wounds. 2 saves of 5+. No. D6 each for a last Talon? Well, I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that it's D6 each. It was basically a last cannon profile. I don't know if they've now differentiated it from a last cannon and last cannons are better or what. Last Talon, D6 damage. So it's taking 10 damage. So that's a 1 shot. Does it explode? No. There are 11 xenos scum inside. Do any of them die? We can only hope. No! Drat. And the witches disembark at the rear side of the Raider. They know the Mon-Keigh are dangerous on the charge, and they must be charged. They must not let them get the upper hand, so they have disembarked further away. Right, now the rest of the shots into the Hellions. I need books and to be over there. Right, now we have the rest of the ridiculous quantity of guns that the tank has. It's in range of both the lieutenant and the captain, but it doesn't matter because it's not core. No one else is in range. The bikes are out of range of the cap by a whisker. Okay, so blast weapons first, just for the sake of my sanity. So, a command point is being spent on lightning fast reflexes. So we're only going to hit on 4s. Which may save them. Who knows? So the frag storms, 12 shots, because there's 2 of them, and they're blast weapons, and there's more than 10. These are misses. Wood not 4s, because they are somehow toughness 4. It's turn 1, which is grenades and heavy weapons, although this is an assault weapon, not a grenade weapon, even though it's a grenade launcher. Silly rules. So saves of a 5+. No, so that's 1 dead. I'm going to keep count up here. That's 1 dead and 1 wound. Right, 2 crack grenade launchers. 1 hit, 1 miss. Wounding on a 3. No. Right. The Icarus rocket pod. Now this gets +1 to hit. This is going to hit on 3s because they are flying. Strength 7, wounding on 3s. Or wound. And this is -1, 2 damage. So these will save on 6s. So 1 saves, 2 more die. Boop. Oh no, hang on. One of which was already on 1 wound. In many ways, I should be taking the models off, but I'm going to stick with this and see how it works for me. Alright, the Iron Hail Stubber. 2 hits. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound. Anything minus for the... Oh, it's heavy weapon, so invulnerable save of 6+ for power from pain. That doesn't do anything. Right, there's 6 here. What are these for? Heavy bolters. Hitting on 4s. Oh, yes, that's the one you want to hit. Wounding on 3s because strength 5. -1, saving on 6s. 2 damage each. 1 is saved. 2 more die. That means there are 5 dead Hellions. Now, the Onslaught thingy. The 3's a miss because of lightning flash reflexes. Strength 5, running on 3s. -2 because it's turn 1, but it doesn't matter because power from pain is always an invulnerable 6. So that's 3. So we have 6 dead and 1 on a wound. Right, let's take some dead ones away. Okay, so we've got to carry on over here with the Outriders, firing into them with their twin bolt rifles, which are rapid fire 2, hitting on 4s because they are still lightning fast with their reflexes. Wounding on 4s because toughness 4 somehow. 6 is to save, invulnerable. Or not invulnerable, either way. So that's 2 more dead. Ah, no. 1 was on 1 wound, so 1 more dead and another one on 1 wound. Ooh, I'm wrecking the scenery. Okay, 20 bolt rifle shots, and it appears that the grenade launcher is now an additional weapon. So that will fire a crack grenade. Okay. Oh, I've not been rerolling 1s for bolter fusillade. Drat! Well, I've remembered it now. Drop dice don't count. I'm going to reroll that 5. Although, drop dice don't count. Right, hitting on 4s. Reroll the 1s, because bolter fusillade. A lot of 3s there that have been negated. I don't think it's going to be enough for them, you know. 4 to wound. Well, that's poor. 3 saves of 6+. 1. So... crack grenade launcher. Hitting on a 4. Yes. Wounding on a 3. Yes. Saving on a 6. No! D3 damage. Doesn't matter. One's already wounded. Kills that one. 5 remaining. Now, there's a stratagem for shooting again. When do I use it? Is it right now or the end of the phase? Right, now the lieutenant who's in the shadows here will also fire. Now he advanced, so it's -1, and they're hard to hit. They're lightning fast reflexes, so it's -2. He would hit on 2, so 4s. 3 hits with the Bellicus bolt rifle, wounding on 3s. -1, so saves of 6. 1 saves, 2 damage. Kills 1. Now the dilemma is to shoot or... You see, I'm pretty sure... I say pretty sure. I could probably kill them with another round of fire from the Intercessors. Probably. But if I charge them and make it, I'll obsec the objective. And that's 2 sweet points. Let's see at the end of the phase. Okay, moving over here, the Inceptors are going to fire at the Reavers. The Reavers are using lightning flash reflexes. So hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because bolts. Bolt of fusillade. Reroll the 1s, 2s and 3s. And remaining ones are misses. Right, strength 5, toughness 4, wounding on 3s. The number of shots is silly. It really is. They should be 2 shots each at most. That's my humble opinion anyway. This many wounds, -1, saves of 5+. Because 4+ save normally. Okay, so that's 5 get through. 1 was on 1 wound and 2 more die. Now the bikes are going to do the same thing, although with less impressive guns. Hit on 4s. Come here, you. Strength 4, toughness 4, so there's only wound on 4s. 3. -1, saving on 5s. No, 4. That's 2 more dead. Now the Intercessors will have a go. There's 2 grenade launchers over there, both using crack grenades. 2 hits, 3s, 2 wounds, -1, 2 saves for 5, 1 save, D3 damage in the other for 1. So that's just 1 wound. I mean, I'm putting that there. Don't know, it's not going to be there long. 9 assault bolters, or bolt rifles, that's it, bolt rifles. We roll the 1s. Right, take out the misses, because it's date night. No, hang on, that's not right. Strength for toughness 4, winning on 4s. Then -1, so saves of 5+. Well, 3 saves, 4 wounds get through, leaving the arena champion on 1 wound remaining. I wonder if the arena champion's going to run away. Or be charged and brutally murdered is probably far more likely. Well, you know, the game is a long way from over. There's a lot more of the game to play. But at this moment in time, it's feeling much more like the Primaris Marines tracked down the Drukhari in their lair and have jumped on them, rather than this being a successful Drukhari trap. Because, yeah, I feel like I've been put through a blender. Okay, there's more blending to go. There's more juicing to be done. Right, here comes some Dreadnought pain. The Heavy Plasma Incinerator and the Icarus Rocket Pod, because these things fly, are going into the Talos, and the Avenger Gatling Gun and the Storm Bolters are going into these Witches. So, into the Talos, first of all. The Plasma thingy is D6 shot. It's heavy D6, okay. This guy's course, so he's going to reroll to hit and reroll to wound because of Wisdom of the Ancients, or 1s at least. Hitting on 3s. That's a miss. Reroll the 1. That's a hit. Strength is 8, toughness is 7, wounding on 3s. No 1s to reroll to wound. Invulnerable, what's the minus? Hang on a minute. Right, these are -4, so we're on to our 6+ invulnerable saves, which don't do anything. 2 damage each, so 6 wounds to Shrug on 5s and 6s. 5 wounds on the first Talos, leaving it on 2 wounds remaining. Ooh. Then the Icarus Rocket Pod has 1 shot, +1 to hit because it's flying, so 2s. With a reroll that isn't needed. Strength 7, toughness 7, force to wound. Wounds, -1, saving on a 4. Saved. Okay, so that Plasma Incinerator put a big hole in that guy. Speaking of big holes, there's about to be several in these Witches. The Storm Bolters are in double tap range, so we'll hit on 3s. Rerolling 1s because the captain, going no, left a bit. And then wounding on 3s. And he's telling himself, no, right a bit. There's 6+ invulnerable saves. 2, 3 dead Witches from that. Then the Onslaught, the Avenger Gatling Can, the gun, the big spinny roundy gun. It isn't a bolt weapon, but it is the captain there. So that's 3 rerolls. Then strength is 5, so wounding on 3s. Rerolling 1s. No 1s, but, you know, I'll take that. That's plenty. 6s to save. 2 saves. 7 dead Witches. Now the Intercessors into the Talos. First of all, crack grenade from the launcher. Rerolls to the captain. Still misses. Then 20 bolt rifle shots. Everyone is just about in double tap range. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. It's a lot of 2s. It's a lot of 2s. 7 2s. Wounding on 5s, rerolling 1s. Drop dice don't count. That was a dropped dice. Roll the 1s. That's quite a few 5s. Right, these are -1. Saves of 4+. 3 get through. 5 plus shrug. 1 is shrugged, but that is enough to kill that Talos. Does it go crackers when it dies? No. But it is dead. It's important because the Homunculus can heal them in his turn. That was the exact number to... Yes, it was the exact number to wound him. So, whatever the captain's got is going to the other Talos. I did it off camera because I didn't think it was going to do anything. It has scored 2 wounds, so 2 saves of 4+. 1 shrug on a 5. Yes, okay, so it didn't do anything. I was right. Now that's everyone having fired. Now. Need to ponder. So I was contemplating using rapid fire over here to finish off the bike. Then I thought these bikes should get in on a charge pretty easy, as should the Intercessor squad for that matter. So no need to do that. Well, then again, I can rapid fire and kill these witches and pull them off the objective. But actually, the Talos is on the objective, so not a huge amount of point in doing that unless the Talos is dead. And even if the Talos is dead, this tactical squad, this Intercessor squad, should get up here with the charge anyway, assuming it makes the charge. And I am contemplating the rapid firing over here, but to be honest, it's not very far to charge, he says, and I will obsec it if I get on it. So I think that's worth the risk over there, because I want to get on it. But now I'm just contemplating, actually, looking at the captain there, because he gets re-roll to charge, but I don't think it's right to re-roll to slingshot the other unit in because of my house rule. So what I think I'll say there is, if the first roll gets in, they all move, obvs. But if the re-roll is what gets in, just the captain's going to move. He sort of leaps ahead of his troops and then gives them a heart attack as they then try and scrabble to keep up with him. So I was a moment ago just about to say I'm going to rapid fire with the those Intercessors to do some more damage to the Talos, soften it up a little bit. But actually, I think I'm going to use it with this unit here onto these witches to definitely take them off that objective. Because they're obsec. So how many can see? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, how many are in double tap range? All of them. So 16 shots. This is 20, so that should be 16 if I take 4 away. Brain, you see. Or there's going to be a crack grenade, a frag grenade in there as well. Okay. Oh, the 3 is a hit. There's no lightning fast reflexes on these. And bolter fusillades, reroll the 1s. Wounding on 3s. Invulnerable saves of 6+. No, the witch is dead. The Succubus isn't, but the witches are dead. In fact, yeah, there you go. So, if the fire is going into both of them, the Succubus, it dodges. These don't. That was 2 command points. I think we're on to the charge phase now. So, let's do that. The captain and the Intercessors and the apothecary, actually, they'll all charge as 1. He needs an 8 to make it to the Talos, which he fails. So Imperium Sword, we're going to re-roll that. He gets an 8, but I'm going to say he's outpaced the rest of the squad, which could cause a problem. And oh, it's the Homunculus within 3 inches. Oh, he is. Heroic intervene. Haha. I know that doesn't technically happen yet. The bike's in. Yep. The Intercessors in. Yep. Move those in a minute. Then over here, do these Intercessors make it? Oh, we're going to have to check that. And the bikes? Yeah, the bikes make it. But do the Intercessors? So, I can either go first with the Hellions, and they will do some significant damage to that unit. Probably won't push them off the objective. Or I can go first with the Captain. The Captain's got 9 wounds and he's toughness 6. I trust him to survive more than the Intercessors. So let's do the Intercessors. Okay, 10 Marines. They're all in range of 1 or half an inch of one that's within half an inch. 31 attacks. Hit on 3s. No rerolls for any reason. I mean, they've only got 8 wounds to get through. Strength 4, toughness 4, wounding on 4s. It's very academic now. Now that they've piled in, they've got the objective. Well, to be fair, I know they had the objective before because they were obsect. No minuses, so 5+ saves. No saves. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the unit. Okay, 2 command points to interrupt, and the Talos will fight. He has 6 attacks with macro scalpels, hitting on 3s. 4 hits. Strength is 7, so wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. 4+ invulnerable saves. 1 gets through, 1 doesn't. He takes 2 wounds, putting him down to 7. Down to 7. Goodness me. Okay. It's the Captain's no, well, I say it's the Captain's turn. Let's kill that Homunculus. It's yet to fight. We can kill... What we don't want to happen is we don't want to be stuck there and charged by this Succubus next turn. Which, to be fair, that's going to happen anyway, unless she rampages off in this direction. Which is not impossible. Let's kill a Homunculus, because he's gonna, hit me back. And then I'll get to fight next turn before the Talos will. Hooray! Right. 1 minute. Okay, so the Captain has 5 attacks, +1 for charging, 6. +1 for his Warlord trait, 7. +2 for being the champion, 9. 9 attacks, hitting on 2s. 9 hits. His strength is currently 6. The Homunculus toughness is 5, so he's wounding on 3s. The Homunculus has a 6 up invulnerable save. 1 save. And these are 2 damage each. So that's 8 wounds. He currently has 7, the Homunculus. However, he has 5+ insensible to pain. So there all fails. And he has a murder doll, which is 4+. Oh, he takes 2 wounds. He's down to 5 wounds. Oh. Right, let's do these Intercessors. They take out the Reaver jet bike with ease and consolidate in this direction and are now obsecking that objective. The bikes activate, move, and then consolidate. So, just the Homunculus left to fight with his scissor hand. He's going to hit on 2s. 5 hits. Poison 4+, wounding on 4s. 1 wound. At -2, saving on a 4. Yes. Okay, so there's no morale to take for the remaining Drukhari. Have the Witch Cult been entirely wiped out? Just the Succubus left. Goodness me, that was a punishing turn 1 from the Astartes. And in battle round 1, the Astartes scored 2 points for obsecking the critical objective. 1 point for obsecking this one. The Drukhari get 1 point. It's 3 points to 1 as we go into turn 2. And the critical objective will change, or may change, 3. So it's objective 2, which I have a funny feeling, yeah, it's that one. Right, Drukhari, turn 2. Here we are after the movement phase, and the Archon's boots have hit the ground. He and his court have advanced. Now they are eager to flay. Power from pain means we can advance and assault. So if we can take that dreadnought out, we can then murderize our way through those Mon-Keigh, sticking them with our husk blades to... No, it's not a husk blade, it's a gin blade. Sticking the blades, just sticking them. So contemplated falling out with the Talos and then pushing him up to the dreadnought with what's it called? Something trickery that you can fall back and assault. However, it's a 2 damage weapon, and the dreadnought will ignore the 2 down to a 1. So the plan is to shoot the dreadnought a lot, and then maybe hack him up a little bit in combat. I don't know. We'll see how all the various shooting goes. Over here, the Venom has stayed still to keep this fire line secure, stop the Mon-Keigh coming down and encircling our position. That's why that objective's there. Something like that. The Venom has engaged as the Raider with the Cabalites has moved to close this gap here, to fill the gap left by one of the dwindling Taloses and the dead witches. Again, an objective. And it's going to put fire down in this direction. The Succubus intends to murder, death, kill. And she has got the tools for the job. The Razorwing Jet Fighter has banked and is doing a, dropping ordnance on the ground, doing lots of shooting. And we'll be doing their thing. Not sure what I'm doing about these yet. It depends how some of the other firing goes. Some of the Scourges have repositioned to get range on the Dreadnought, meaning a couple of weapons -1 to hit, but not all of them. And other fire will be coming down into these Mon-Keigh in the middle. This Raider, as it's flying past, is also putting its lance into that Dreadnought. So, because of the way that's happening narratively, I'm going to allow it to fire from the back end of the Raider, because basically it's fired as it's flown over. Then over here, the Racks have appeared in the reinforcement step, ready to jump onto these Mon-Keigh and claim this objective. At which point they the Intercessors have seen on their Auspex. Look, he's even looking at his Auspex. I've seen them appear, see the disturbance in the web, the fact that the webway portal is opening is giving them some strange readings, and they are going to open fire with Auspex scan in just a moment. The Venom containing the Incubi has dropped down here, and using Murderous Descent, the Incubi have got out. Now the drawback with this is that it's still a 9-inch charge, and obviously, which one of my games there's no re-rolling, and if command point rerolls didn't exist in the main game, I'm sure the Drukhari would have a strategy to allow some kind of reroll or extra distance or something. But it does, so they don't, so it isn't, so I can't. or some words like that. So first things first, let's, the Emperor's finest, kill some xenos filth in their own turn. You're going to get an extreme close, but oh no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Right, hitting on 3s. This used to be -1 to hit. It isn't now. Hitting on 3s. Bolts of Fusillades. Reroll the 1s. That's a lot of hits. And they haven't got a Homunculus with them, so the toughness is only 4. So winning on 4s. Boop. That's poor. That is very poor. Obviously, the mass reactive rounds are hitting. Maybe the webway is distorting the air slightly, and maybe the rounds are going off prematurely. Saves of 6+. 3 saves. Like, each of these will be shrugged on a 5+. 2 shrugs. They only kill 2. Right, so let's start shooting and fire the things that have only got 1 target. The Talos is going to fire a stinger for 4 shots at the captain. It's going to hit on a -1, so hitting on 6s. That's a hit. Wounding on a 5, which wounds. Saving on a 2. Yes. The Dark Lance into the Dreadnought. Misses. Okay. Now I have to think about order and sequence and priority and what I want to be most dead. Most dead. Okay, let's do something with the Scourges. I've got to decide where to put the Shard Carbine fire. Whether I want to put it into the bikes, try and thin those down a little bit. Which is the right thing to do if my charges here work out and I can overwhelm on this objective. But not so much the right thing to do if I don't make the charges. Because then I'll get hit next turn. But you know what? We're on the back foot. I think we've got to play... Then again, that tank is just going to murder whatever's here, so I'm really just playing to the end of the turn. From that sense. In which case, the Shard Carbines will go into these Marines. Nice and simple. In fact, let us Shard Carbine first. 1, 2, so 3 shots each. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hit on 3s. Oh, that's terrible. That's really awful. Wounded on 4s. That's average. Saving on 3s. One wound on one of them. You guys suck. You really suck. Right. Dark Lance into the Dread. Hits. Wounds on a 3. Doesn't wound. Sacked. D3 shots with the 1 shot with the haywire thing. 4+. Oh, 6. Now that does D3 mortal wounds for 1. And then it's damage... Oh, I'm going to have to check. For a moment, I had confidence in my memory. It's -3, so it's going to need a 6-up save. No. And then it does D3 damage for 1, minimum 1. So 2 wounds taken there. I'll make a little nose over here. Blaster. Hits. Wounds on a 3. Wounds. Blaster is -4. Goes straight through. D6 damage. For 1. It's 3. Then heat lands on a 4 because it moved. No, you guys. Oh, you crazy guys. Right, we're going to do the Mandrakes. So the Archon is ordering them to balefire that because he knows the balefire is etheric. It will hurt it regardless of its armour. So 4 of them, who can't see over the lip, are going to fire into the Eradicator. And then I remember! And the others are going to fire into here. We're hoping for the mortal wounds here to punch straight through the armour. Right, into the Eradicator first. Hitting on 3s. Strength 4, so winning on 5s, 6s are mortal wounds. So that's 2, so 1 mortal wound and 2 -1, 2 4+ saves. Both failed. The Eradicator dies. And they've achieved more with 4 of them firing than you have all game. Right, now into the Dread. Hitting on 3s. Fives to wound, strength 4 total 7, 6s to do mortal wounds. Only 1 mortal wound, only 1 wound period. Saves on a 4+, which it doesn't. So it takes 2 more wounds. It's down to 5. What other dastardly shenanigans can we work? Right, we're scraping the barrel for this dreadnought now. So the Court of the Archon. The Medusa is going to eye-burst the Dreadnought. The Sliths are going to Shard Carbine the Astartes. So, Shard Carbines first. 3 hits, winning on 4s, 1 wound, save for 3+. Yes, as expected. Now, the Eye Burst auto hits D6 for 6. Strength 4, winning on 5s. For 3. -2, so saves of 5+. 2 more wounds. That puts it down to 3. Okay, next, the Razorwing Jet Fighter is going to fire at these Inceptors. I should probably fire at the bikes, but there are other units that can shoot at the bikes, and I'm more worried about these. They've got... They're just nastier, I think. So, yeah, shooting these disintegrator cannons, hitting on 3s, wounded on 4s, 2 wounds, -3, saving on 6s. No, 2 damage each, kills 1. Then Splinter Cannon. 3 hits, wounding on 4s, 3 wounds, -1, saving on 4s. No! Kills another one and leaves 1 on 1 wound. Now, what's the missile called? It's the D3 one, 3D3. Neurotoxin missile for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots. Hitting on 3s. These guys do not like to share the skies with anyone. Winning on 4s. No, 2s, because it's a neurotoxin missile. So that's 4 wounds. Saving on regular 3s. There's no AP. 1. This one loses his last wound. 1 guy remaining. Okay, now the Venom is going to put both of its splinter cannons into the bikes. Hitting on 3s. All hit. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound. -1, saving on a 4. No. A bike takes 2 wounds. Okay, so now the occupants of the Raider. We're going to put the Splinter Cannon and the Shredder into the bikes, and then there are 8 guys left with Splinter Rifles. We're going to put half in each, which basically means 4 Splinter Rifles are going into this one. But because of the Splinter Racks, we count as being in double tap range. So hitting on 3s, sorry. 3s. Wounding on 4s. 4 wounds. Not likely, but, you know, should scratch him. Should hurt him a bit. Failed 2. He's got 1 wound remaining. It's the wrong pocket. 1 wound remaining. Okay, now into the bikes. Splinter Cannons. 1 hit. Wounding on a 4. No wound. D6 shots with a Shredder for 1. Hitting on a 3. Wounding on a 3. No. Okay. Well, this isn't going terribly well, is it? Now the Splinter Rifles. Let's see if we can do better with these. Wounding on 4s. 4 wounds. Hopefully we can kill that 1 bike. Maybe. Saving on 3s. 1 fail. No, the bike just goes down to 1 wound. Okay. Oh, I had lots of choices earlier. I was just thinking, what to fire next? I've used them all. I can't find anything next. Oh, just a couple of things. I fired the pistols from the Homunculus and the Archon. They did nothing. You don't belong there. You belong in the blue dice pocket, not the wound dice pocket. These have all fired. You fired. They fired. So we must be coming over here now. Okay, so the racks first. I've just discovered that liquefy guns have gone up to 12-inch range. So, 2 liquefy guns, auto hitting, d6 each for 9. 5, 9. Strength 4, toughness 4, wounding on 4s. 4 wounds, -2, saves of 5+. 3 saves. 1. That kills the guy on 1 wound. Good. Right, now the Os Factor. It's a single shot. Hits on not that. That's easy. And then I think the final guns are on the Venom. 2 splinter cannons. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. 3 wounds. -1. Saves of 4+. 2 fail. 2 guys die. Takes up 2 of the Intercessors for the Overwatch. I assume there's going to be Overwatch. There's going to be Overwatch. Right. Now to decide on all the charges. Right, there's lots of charges, there's going to be lots of Overwatch. I'll tell you what it all is, then I'll roll the getting ins, then I'll do all the Overwatch. So, Succubus into those Intercessors. They are Overwatching. She's in. Court of the Archon into the Dreadnought and those Marines. They are both Overwatching. Are they in? Yes, that's 6, definitely. And the Archon just into the Marines, who are not Overwatching because they've shot at the Court of the Archon. In the unlikely event in the possible event that the Court of the Archon is all dead, they will also Overwatch into the Archon. Does he make it? 8. Yes, he does. Right, so the Venom is charging to 9-inch charge. They're not going to Overwatch the Venom. Rerollable because of Call to the Red Grief. Fails. The racks are going to charge. What's the narrative thing to do here? Is it to shoot at the racks? It probably is. Yes, it's to shoot at the racks, because if they'd made it, they wouldn't have time to shoot at the racks, but now they do. So they will Overwatch the racks, and the racks fail. The Incubi and Drazar. Now that... I mean, this is a lot of command points. I'd say they haven't got enough time to do both. So now the Incubi and Drazar are going to charge. Is this going to be 3 failed charges? Yep. Yes, it is. These guys are going to face a huge amount of return fire next turn. All 3 of them fail. Man. Well, an atrocious round of Overwatch to match the atrocious charging over here. I guess over here there was just so much gunfire flying in every direction that they were just beaten back. The Laraman was killed. The Lilliman was killed on Overwatch. 3 wounds taken. Nothing from the big bada booms. There was 1 hit on the Succubus, but it didn't wound. Right, where to start? Well, I'm going to start, and I'll tell you my logic. I'm going to start with the Court of the Archon, because the Court of the Archon... have I not moved him properly? No, I haven't. There we go. There we go, much better. That leg's falling off the building, you see, so I've got to be a little bit careful with it. Start with the Court of the Archon, because that's going to punch like a brick, and I want to try and preemptively kill it. Now, the Sliths have got a reasonable number of attacks with a decent minus AP. It's not by any stretch a guarantee, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. And if I'm lucky, I'll get it down to its lowest bracket if I can't actually kill it. The Archon has a 2+ save to fall back on. And these Marines are bunching up. They might not all be able to get in on him. I am not worried about her at all. She's got wounds for days now and additional toughness. She's going to be hit on 4s. And if I put lightning fast reflexes on her, it's -1 to hit on top of that. Ditto the Archon, I can make him harder to hit. So, irrespective of where he chooses to interrupt, that's my rationale anyway. That's where we're starting. Okay, 3 attacks from each slith. Hitting on 3 to roll the 1s because of the Archon. Still at 1. Wounding on 5. Strength 5, toughness 7. This is the tricky bit. 2. -2. 2 saves of 5+. 1 pass, 1 failed. Goes down to 2 wounds. Then the Medusa misses. What is that a hit for the Medusa? I know we got 1 attack. But... oh, it's a hit! It's a hit! It's a 6 to wound, mind. No. Okay, so we take 1 wound off him. Okay, so the tactical. The Intercessor unit is interrupting and have piled in. They can get more than I thought in. Plus, they are still in range of the Aura of Command for reroll 1s from the Captain because of the Vox Spiritus, which is 9-inch range. And Wisdom of the Ancients is still in effect from Battle Round 1. So they're rerolling 1s to hit and 1s to wound. So I'm going to employ lightning fast reflexes to make them -1 to hit. So hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. 2 1s to reroll. Okay. Take away the ones that don't successfully hit. It's the toughness of an Archon. It's got to be 3, surely. Flip over to the Archon. Come on. Where are you? Archon, yeah? Toughness 3. Okay. Wounding on 3s, 3 rolling 1s. There's a 1. Okay. So he has a 2+ save that fails... that disappears the first time he uses it. First time it fails. Now, I'm not sure what the way the rules are meant to work on this, but I think the most narratively accurate thing to do is to roll these 1 at a time. So I'm going to do that. Right, it's failed. So his what did I just say it was called? His Shadow Field has failed. And he has 3 more saves to take on his armor save of 4+. It's battle round 2, so there's no negative on this, just 4 pluses. 1 is passed. He's lost 3 wounds in total. Now the special relic for this guy is a 4+ invulnerable save that you get to have even after your Shadow Field has failed. So he has 2 wounds remaining. Ouchie. I wonder if I've bitten off more than I can chew. Let me rephrase that. I've bitten off more than I can chew. Succubus time! Right, this is going to be horrific for the Space Marines. Utterly horrific. So, the Succubus has... ooh, falling off the table. The Succubus has 6 attacks base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She gets +3 attacks for the Triptych Lash, the Triptych Whip, the thing she's got. And +2 attacks for being a champion. She's also, what did her combat drugs randomly give her? +1 weapon skill and +2 to move. Okay, that's not going to come into it much. Or at all, because there's no minus for her to hit. Now, does she have anything? No, she can't reroll win rolls of 1. That's her own thing. Right, let me find this relic. Oh no, I wrote it down on here, didn't I? Okay. It's poison 2+, -3, damage 2. So these 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 attacks are going to hit on 2s and wound on 2s. 2 misses. Wounding on 2s. 2 failed wounds. That's quite a lot. -3. These are saving on 6s. 2 passed. I'm surprised 2 passed. 5 dead. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you know, out of 11 attacks, I expected more dead. I think the Marines have got off lightly. Okay, now the Archon. What does he have? Archon, he has 5 attacks base. 5 attacks base. +1 for his Warlord trait. And +2 for the Djinn Blade. And he hits on 2s. Misses 3 times. He doesn't get to reroll his own things, does he? No, Cabalite Core. Alright. Strength is more than 4, but not 8. So it's going to wound on 3s. 4. At -3, 3 damage. 2 saves, 6+. Okay. The thingy will attempt to patch some of these guys up. And, oh my god! As soon as the Djinn Blade starts to disintegrate this Marine, somehow the apothecary pumps him full of some kind of goo and keeps him alive, only for the next blow to land on him. More goo. Can goo save him? He needs 3 6s to be saved from goo. He's dead. He kills a Marine. Just the one. Oh, he's killed one with a grenade launcher. That's handy. Okay, this could be problematic. Right, now one of the ongoing combats is selected. So is the Gravis Captain going to kill the Talos or the Homunculus? He didn't have much luck with the Homunculus. And the Talos looks nastier. Let's kill him with the Talos. 5 attacks as a base. He's the champion, so he gets +2 attacks. His Warlord trait is only when he's charged or charged, so it's just these 7 attacks against the Talos. Hitting on 2s. His strength is currently 6. The Talos's toughness is 6. No, it's 7. It's 7 because of the Homunculus. Because that's what his aura does, is it buffs his strength, his toughness. I got that wrong earlier. So actually, he's only wounding on 5s. Uh-oh. Oh, but then again. No, 2. 6+ invulnerable saves. 1 is passed. 2 damage. 1 is shrugged. This Talos went wee all the way home. Had a 6 damage. Right. Now who to fight with before the Marine? It doesn't make any difference really at this point, does it? Let's do the Talos fighting back. 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Strength 6, toughness. Was it toughness 6? Yes, he is toughness 6. He's toughness 5 as a base and then +1. So he's wounding on 4s. These are minus a bunch, so saving on 4+ invulnerable. 2 damage from each one. He takes 4 wounds. I feel like I'm forgetting something. He takes 4 wounds. Yeah, he hasn't got any other kind of shruggery. Right, let's see what the Dreadnought can do. Actually, no, let's do the easier one first. These are going to pile in. 3 for the Sarge. No, 4 for the Sarge. Oh, Paul. 4 for the Sarge. 3 for each of the dudes. Hitting on 4s. Can't hit on anything worse than a 4. Strength 4, toughness 4, wounding on 4s. 1 invulnerable save of 4+. Yeah, dodged out the way. Not being there, best defense. Right then, now the Homunculus with his 6 attacks, because he's got a scissor hand. Oh, the captain's got 3 wounds left. Hitting on 2s. Scissor hand wounds on 4s. 3 wounds. -1, so he will save on 3s. Fails 2. He's got a single solitary wound remaining. But he fights on, covered in blood, practically from head to toe. Wounds clotting left, right and centre. Both hearts pounding. The armour flooding his system with stims. And he fights on. Right. Now let's see how the Dreadnought can do. Uh-oh. The Dreadnought has 5 attacks because he was charged, but he's only hitting on 5s because he's so badly damaged. But he will... Is he core? He's core, so we can reroll the 1. Hits once. Wounding on... Oh, yes. Invulnerable save is 6+. No. D6 damage. Or is it... No, I think it's more than that, isn't it? Is it 3 plus D3? It is. 4 wounds. Crushes the Medusa. Dead. The bodyguards are much hardier. Right then. That is the end of the turn. These guys, they're fine. They don't need a leadership test at all. What happened over here? How many have they got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They could fail on a 6, I think. No, they're fine. They can't fail. They weren't injured. They can't fail. Right, these guys lost 6. 5. That is most definitely a fail. 1 runs. But because of They Shall Know No Fear, these only run away on 1s. So I like to think they're not running away. They are just being dragged down by the Succubus. A moment's indecision, and the Triptych Whip takes their head. He lost 3. 3, 4, 7. He's fine. Although he's not the sergeant. Sergeant must have been a casualty. Let's take the sergeant off. Okay, so from a Drukhari point of view, we're on 2 objectives, but not the one we really need to be on. The Archon's about to die. quite thoroughly. Right, let's go on to Space Marines, turn 2. Right, we're in the movement phase, and these Intercessors want to back away. But in order to do so, because of the no escape rule the Succubus has, they must win a roll-off. So for the Marines, 3. For the Succubus, 6. No. There is no escape. They are not falling back. So after the movement phase, the captain has been issuing his orders over the Vox Spiritum. He ordered these guys to withdraw so that fire could be put into that, whatever it is, but they were unable to do so. He is adamant he requires no support, despite their protestations. The Outriders have come to take this objective. They are to secure this thoroughfare so that lines can't be got around and circlement and stuff. Do you like that? They have stayed put over here. The apothecary has healed the injured one back to life. I mean, he was mostly dust in a pair of boots, but apparently elastoplast, and he's good. So these are fighting on. Yeah, the Archon overreached himself significantly. Then over here, the Marines have pushed out, backed up by the Lieutenant and this big tank. It doesn't. I don't need to do much exposition to show you who's targeting whom. The Intercessors are going to shoot these things. They're going to shoot into there, and this can pick its targets and still spin its turret to shoot that raider. So that's the plan. I mean, these things, no one cares. These things, people care, but they've got more pressing issues. That guy's a dervish. So we're on to the shooting phase. First thing we'll do is we'll fire the pistol, the Boltstorm Gauntlet. He's got a power fist. The Boltstorm Gauntlet isn't just a gun, it's a power fist. So some of you have probably been screaming at me for about an hour. Right, well. Right, pistol. Misses twice. He's obviously, his vision's fogging over at this point. Does it wound the Talos? It does not. Unsurprising. No. Oh no. Right. 10 bolt pistol shots at this Archon. Let's just cap him and walk off. Oh no, he can't be chosen as the target for a ranged attack as long as he is within range of the slits. So, let's try the Dreadnought, the slits. The plasma cannon is a blast weapon, so it can't be fired. However, the... where's he gone? The other guns are not. He would hit on 5s, -1. No, that's only for heavy weapons. This is a heavy weapon. This will hit on 6s. Running on 3s? No. Now the Storm Bolters will hit on 5s. No. The Icarus Rocket Pod, he's not firing that point blank. That would make no sense. Alright, okay, so we now are doing 10 pistol shots into these slits, which will hit on 3s. And reroll the 1s. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound. Saving on 6s. Power from pain. Yep, that's right. The slits shrug on 5 pluses. Shrugs 2 of them, but that kills 1 of the slits. Right. What next? I cannot believe I forgot he had a power fist. Grr! I've been so careful today. I've been checking and double checking and... Maybe he didn't want to compromise on speed. Maybe he just thought he would slice the thing up and had no concept of how resilient they were to damage. Now he realises that he can't open these up with his power sword. He's going to hit it in the face with his power fist. Right, these Intercessors, these Incubi. First off, Underslung Grenade Launcher, D6 shots blast. 4 shots. Hitting on 3s. I wonder if I should use lightning fast reflexes. Yes, I should. Lightning fast reflexes. I've already fired this one, it's no matter. Wounding on 4s, because strength 3. 1. Save a 3+. Yes. Oops. Now the bolt rounds, which will now hit on 4s because of lightning fast. That's a lot of now misses. I can reroll 1s to wound. Were there any 1s to wound on the grenade? I don't think there were. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. Reroll that 1. Because the LT advanced. I don't think I mentioned that. He advanced and he's caught up with them. Or he's catching up with them. Right, we are in... we're in the Tactical Doctrine. These are all -2. So these save on 5s. 3 saved. 1, 2, 3, 4 dead. That's the majority of them. Right, 12 shots into whatever those xenos freaks are. Bolt rerolls. Oh, I remember them now. I probably forgot them a minute ago. Right, winning on 4s. They're not in range of the LT. These save on 6s. No, and they shrug on 5s. 3 get through. Coming over here, we've got 2 bolt pistols, which hit. Both wound. 1 fast, 1 failed save. And how many wounds she's got? Because she's the champion, she has 8 wounds. Right, now the bikes are shooting at this venom. Oh, the exact right number of dice. -1 to hit because it's a venom. So the 3s don't hit. But the 1s, of which I think there were 2, will re-roll because the captain's there. Okay. Strength 4, toughness 5, running on 5s. 2 at -2 doesn't matter. 5 plus vulnerable save. 2 wounds. So the venom has 4. Why are the blue dice in the non-blue dice pocket? What have you been doing, Paul? Ugh. Right. That's the non-wound that I've been putting the dice in the wrong pocket. What's wrong with me? Right. Assault bolters into the venom as well. Hitting on 4s because of the night shield. No, flicker field even. These are strength 5, so the wound on 4s. 2 -2, vulnerable saves of 5. 2 more wounds. It's down to 2. And it's going to get charged by those bikes. Right, they fired. He's fired. They fired. These have all fired. Oh! Oh yes. So the LT will try and kill this incubi with the bellicose bolt rifle. He does reroll 1 because it's a bolt weapon. Strength is 5, wounding on 3s. He doesn't 3 1s. And he doesn't reroll his own 1s. He can tell other people where to shoot, but he can't do it himself. Right then. So. Just the tank. Right, I'm going to say the rocket pod can... Oh no, the rocket pod will shoot at this, of course. Rocket pod and crack grenade. Is it going to be in range? If it's in range, the crack grenade launcher will go into here. If not, it will go into that. Las Talon into that raider. Fragstorm into the unit of 5. Stubber into the unit of 5. Heavy bolter into the 1 incubi. Storm bolters into the incubi. Oh, so complicated. I'll do the way around. So, okay. Big hitty stuff into the flying thing. Then just the stubber and the storm bolters into that. Everything else into that. Right. That will make that life a bit easier. So, apart from the last Talon, which obviously goes over there. The last Talon misses. Good. That's nice and easy. The rocket pod has D3 shots for 1, which misses. Good. This is making the admin very straightforward. Whew, the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. They're hard to hit, so the 3s miss. I forgot that. Oh, shoot. I'm not going to do it with the Storm Bolter. I need 2 wounds to take off him. Hit on 4s. Wounding on 3s. Oh, I might do it with the Storm Bolter. -1 because of the tactical doctrine. So, saves of 4+. There we go. Fails 2. He has 2 wounds. He is Jambred dead. Now, all the other gum into whatever they're called. So, Fragstorm launchers. A 6 and a 3 for 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. Hitting on 3s. Wounded on 4s. Saving on 6s. Shrugging on 5s. 2 dead. Twin Heavy Bolter. Wounded on 3s. Saving on 6s. Each one is at 2 shrugs. Dead. 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 That's the unit. Okay, charge phase. Not a lot of charges. The Outriders are going to charge the Venom. I am going to Overwatch, because if I can clip that 1 wound off that last one, there's just a chance I can survive it. And when I say just a chance, it's pretty slim. Alright, drop dice, don't count. Ugh. But it did land only halfway down, so I can reach it. 6 to hit. 1. Wounding on a 4. Wounds. -1 to save. 4 plus. Yes, saves. So they make it in. Pop. 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 No charges over here. If I'd thought, if I'd left the bikes close enough to the objective, I could have then charged over here with the Intercessors. That would have been a great idea, but they don't know that. So, 1 charging unit. Oh, let me spend that command point I just put in. Okay. Right then. Charging units first. These guys get loads of attacks on the charge for some unknown reason. I don't think I've ever got these into combat. I'll have to check their stats. On the charge, these guys have 5 attacks each on the with the chainsword, which is loads. Hitting on 3s. That was a hit. Strength 4, winning on 5s. 3, 4 of them. -1 because of a chainsword. We're not in the assault doctrine yet, so 4 saves of 5 plus. 1 is made, 3 get through, it is destroyed. Does it explode? It does not. Right, it's the other guy's turn to pick first. He's going to activate the Archon. Just realised I didn't roll for the Gym Blade last turn to see if it hurt me, which it did. So I took a mortal wound, so I'm actually on 1 wound, not 2. I'm going to use the Gym Blade again, at the risk of another mortal wound. Dicing with death. 8 attacks again. Hitting on 2s. 8 hits. Wounding on 3s. 8 wounds. Whoa. -3 saves on 6s. 2 saves. So that's 6 casualties. Potential casualties. Can they shrug? Then each one needs to shrug 2 to survive. Dead. Survives. 3rd roll is then killed. So that's 2 dead. 4th roll, dead. 5th roll, dead. 6th roll, dead. So 5 Marines are killed. Does the Gin Blade kill him? Yes, it does. It eats his soul. That isn't the end of the phase, though, so I'm going to assume they're all going to try and kill him first. So, hang on. So, yes, 5 casualties. 5 casualties. Now, the Gravis captain, having discovered that this thing is hard to carve up with a power sword, with a master crafted power sword, will turn to his Boltstorm Gauntlet. Now he's only going to hit on 3s with this. So that's 3 misses. Uh-oh. Strength 9, because... No, that only counts for the charge. Strength 8. Winning on 3s either way. 1 failed wound. Save of a 6. No. 2 damage. Doesn't shrug either of them. Goes down to 4. Right. That was not what we wanted. So that Slith is going to try and take those 2 wounds off that Dreadnought. I really am not bothered about these. They are so not going to kill her. Hits twice. Wounding on 5s. Come on, need both of these. One of them. Save on a 5. No, it's down to 1 wound remaining. Now these 2 Intercessors will attempt to hit the Succubus. Hits her 3 times. Wounds her twice. 4 plus invulnerable saves. Fails 2. She's down to a paltry 5 wounds. What a champion. Right. So it's now a Drukhari who hasn't fought. Go. Straighten up, you. So we'll do the Talos. 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, saving on 4s, 1 save, 2 damage. The captain falls. The blood loss is too great and he lapses temporarily out of consciousness. It is down to his battle brothers to secure the day. A similar sentiment that the Archon will share in a minute when he finds out if he's been killed by his gym blade, which he totally has. Right, what's next? Right, the Succubus is killing these Marines. You know what, I'm just going to roll, how many is that? 6. I'll roll some more if we need to. 2s. 6s to save the dead. Okay, then she gets to consolidate. Nearest enemy's over here. Oh, she ends up nearer to him. She's nearer to him there. Right. And now the Archon succumbs to the Gin Blade as he lapses out of consciousness. The same point as his rival. Okay. He could consolidate. He doesn't need to. He really doesn't need to. Okay. So, the end of battle round 2. Well, we've got morale first, haven't we? Those Marines lost 5. 10. That is a fail. 1 succumbs to a wound suffered from the Gym Blade. And then 4 more succumb on 1s. No. Just the 1. Right, okay. So, at the end... Let me take one of these off before I forget. Ugh. At the end of the battle round, again, the Drukhari hold 1 objective. The Fulminators hold 2, including the critical. So it's another 3 points to the Fulminators and 1 to the Drukhari, taking the score 6 points to 2. And the Drukhari are rapidly running out of assets. This is a mountain for them to climb. But before we go on to battle round 3, we need to see which is the active objective. 2. It's the same objective. They are having no luck. So I don't think my dice understand that this objective is meant to move. It's... Well, okay, no. So, earlier on in the game, the Eldar wrote this objective off because of where it is, and they pushed all the way up there. And I guess the fact that it's now still the primary objective means that I am having to adapt and having to come back and so on. Because, I mean, look what I've done. The Scourges have dropped down right into the yawing maw of the lion to try and... Well, yeah, I mean, we've got to kill these Intercessors utterly. They have to die. I mean, let's be fair, Drazar will do that practically in his sleep. But also, we realistically need to take out these bikes and stop these guys coming forward and taking it off us by killing Drazar. So that's part of the plan there. The other part of the plan, look how far the Succubus has moved. She's got an 8-inch move naturally, plus 2-inch move for Hypex, and then she rolled a 6 to advance. So we're about to see a repeat of the metallotoxin use on this thing to kill it utterly, or try and kill it utterly anyway. These guys, the Mandrakes, have got an 8-inch move, so they were able to drop down 6 inches. I like the thought of shadows just silently floating to the ground. He's a little bit too close. And they're going to try and murder everything here. We're ignoring this because it's all locked up in combat, you see. So we can't shoot into it anyway. So these guys are going to shoot the Apothecary, then charge in, try to do a multi-charge, and maybe take the last wound off the Dreadnought and see what damage we can do here. The Venom over there is just staying... The Raider over there is just staying on that objective. They are holding that breach. The chain of command, such as it is, has fallen to the Succubus, who is the champion. They are busy trying... The injured Slith and co are busy trying to drag the Archon free, as are the Battle Brothers trying desperately to get to the site of the fallen Gravis captain. And over here we have... So this was interesting over here, because there's plenty of space to get the models in back there, but I tried to fly the Raider over, and I did think, well, you know, it's hovering above, but it was literally in base to base with the 3 model, just because of the shape of the bases and the buttresses around the building. So I thought, no, okay, what we'll do. The Homunculus could move round, and he is now in range of that. Because the challenge was, killing them isn't the problem, it's them being in range of the objective. So even if we shoot them all, the Homunculus is in range of the objective. And these guys are guarding this one. The fighter has banked this way, and we'll be putting supporting fire down into here, and hopefully someone will finish off this thing. And that's what I laughingly refer to as the plan. Okay, so first things first. Gosh, what is the first thing? Right, let's go over here, because I am working on the assumption that Drazar will just kill them. If he doesn't, who knows? Who knows? But I'm just working on the basis he just kills them. So we'll fire the Venom at the bikes, because if by some miracle we do some real damage to those bikes with the Venom, I can always put some of the heavy weapons back towards the tank, soften it up a bit for the Succubus. Okay, so hitting the Venom on 3s. 3 hits. Sorry, hitting the bikes on 3s. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound. Saving on a 4. Yes, nothing doing there. Okay, in which case, we're going to fire all but one of the Scourges into the bikes, and the one that isn't is going to throw a haywire grenade at the tank for a command point. Boop! Haywire grenade hits on a 3. No, does nothing. Good old Scourges. They're reliable, you know. They're reliable. Reliably bad. Okay, Dark Lance hitting on a 4. Wounding on a 3. Yes. Punches through the armour. D6 plus 3 damage. Just kills one. I'll make you a charge longer should you want to try and charge. Blaster. Yes. Yes. Wounds. No save. D6 damage for 6. You see, when I'm shooting at vehicles, they don't do this. Haywire. No. Do you know what? I'm going to tweak what I said retrospectively, because the haywire thing only is really effective against vehicles, so that is going to fire into the vehicle. 2d3 shots for 4. No, 1d3 shots for 1, which hits. And does d3 mortal wounds, and a save of a 6, which it saves. D3 mortal wounds for 3, putting the tank down to 10. Right, now back to what I said. Now the Heat Lance hitting on a 4, which hits, wounding on a 3, which wounds. D6 plus 2 damage for 7. So the bikes are wiped. And then a load of splinter rounds just patter off the armour and sludge and stuff. Should probably have done transhuman on them. I'll do transhuman on these in a minute. You see, you can do it. You can do it, guys. Just not ever when you're firing at a vehicle. Right, continuing the theme of softening up the repulsor, the Raider is going to fire his Dark Lance over and hits. And wounds. Save of a 6. No, it's -3. Save of a 5. No, it's a 3 plus save, so save of 5 doesn't do it. D3 plus 3 damage. for 5. Is it 5 wounds remaining? This might actually work. Strange things have happened. Okay, right. Let's do these bale blasts on this apothecary. That's 10. I need another 7, please, Paul. Okay, Paul. 7 more dice coming right up. That's 8. Don't need 8. Stop cheating. Okay. I've been in there a while. Hit on 3s. We didn't advance. We just moved. That was a 4. Toughness 4, so wounding on 4s, 6s do mortal wounds in addition. Okay, well, there's 5 mortal wounds he's suffered. He did. Oh, I suppose he could shrug him. And then some other saves. He fails 1. Does he fail any of these saves? Fails 4, so 9. He's got to shrug 9 wounds on 6s. You laugh, but in the first game in this series, I rolled 10 straight 6s. Okay, the apothecary, dead. I mean, those 4 guys there would not be alive were it not for the presence of the apothecary. So he's done well. He's done well, but not anymore. Right, now the Homunculus with his stinger pistol, which will hit on a 2 and wound on a 2. Save on a 3. Yes. Well, you never know. Stranger things have happened. Right. Now. I can't believe how in control the Drukhari now feel after 2 turns of being utterly massacred. I mean, they're way behind on points, so maybe this is just a desperate gambit. We shall see. Anyway, who did you shoot at? You shot at the Venom. I don't know if the Talos has noticed you. The Talos is going to fire at these bikes. That's what he's concentrating on. 5 shots with a stinger, hitting on 4s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 4. Doesn't wound. Okay. Right. The jet fighter will fire all this stuff down there. We'll fire the neurotoxin missiles first for 5 shots, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, saving on 3s. No, this one succumbs to his wounds. Now, 6 shots with disintegrator cannons. 3 hits, wounding on 4s. Well, 5s definitely do it. Saving on 6s. No. That's 4 wounds. Kills this one. Then the shuriken splinter cannon hits 3 times, wounding on 4s. Wounds twice, saving on 4s. 2 fails. This one is shot to pieces also. So the participants of this raider will fire all their splinter weapons up here at this one. Let's do the cannon first. 1 hit, wounding on a 4. Wounds. No cover save because these are the Cult of the Red Grief. The Cabal of the Flayed Skull. 3 plus save. Yes. 5, 8. Nah, that's the wrong number. 4 more, please. Okay, Bob. Right. 3s to hit. Wounding on 4s. Saving on 3s. You've got to hope this will get him. Just 1 wound. The skies belong to us, Mon-Keigh. Okay, the Mandrakes are going to charge. Am I being greedy if I go after the Dreadnought as well? Do you know what? I'd rather the Marines would. Do I want both? I want both. I'm going to charge the Marines and the Dreadnought. There we go. We're in. No Overwatch here. The Venom can't fail, and Drazar can't fail. So they're both in. The Succubus can fail, and she is going to be overwatched by the tank, who's going to turn all its guns on it and just saturate the area with fire. 3 is not enough. Re-roll because of course the Red Grief. 9 is most certainly enough. She makes it in, assuming she's not dead. Right, I will do all that off camera. She took 3 wounds to Overwatch, leaving her on 2 wounds remaining. She makes it in. Now, to start the fight phase, we need to roll for Tormentors, which is an Incubi special ability. We're going to pick this unit. Oh, why not? Heroically intervene into these guys. Let's see if we can mess them up a bit. Pick a unit within 6 inches and try and beat their leadership on 2d6, which we failed to do. So, I don't need to tell you what happens. Okay, so Drazar. Okay, fighting with his dual blades, his attacks double, so he gets 10 attacks. He has a special rule called Master of Blades, which gives all Incubi within 6 inches of him, which includes him, +1 to wound. So these are strength 5, so they're going to wound on 2s. So they hit on 2s, wound on 2s. 8 hits. 6 wounds. What was the minus? -3. Saving on 6s. 2 saves. Only 4 die. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pile in. Now I could pay 2 command points to interrupt here before he fights a second time. And if they'd failed the Tormentors test, they'd have only been eligible to fight after all my units. So I would have got to do both rolls together. The question is, do I want... I think the best chance I've got is interrupting against those mandrakes, but do I want to do that? I think what I want to do is I want to preserve the assets. So if I can, I want to keep them alive. So yes, 2 command points. We're going to fight the mandrakes. Okay, so 3 attacks each, +1 from the Sarge, hitting on 3s. No rerolls. Wounding on 3s, because these are toughness 3. 5+ invulnerable saves. 3, only 3 mandrakes die. Right, I'd ideally like to fight with the Scourges next, see if we can kick this guy in the teeth, but they're not a charging unit. I have to pick a charging unit. So it's going to be the Succubus. 2 command points spent on potent metallotoxins with her 11 attacks with the triptych whip. 9 hits. Poison, wounding on 2s, and because of metallotoxins, it affects vehicles. That doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. I probably won't do this again. Famous last words. Save on 6s. No. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 damage. You only have 5 remaining. Does it explode? It doesn't. It just melts into a pile of scrap metal. Now, the Mandrakes. 3 are going to attack the Dreadnought. 4 are going to attack the Marines. These are hitting on 2s because we're in battle round 3. And Power from Pain does that in this battle round. So the 3 on the Dreadnought hitting on 2s. Strength 4, so wounding on 5s. 3 wounds. 4+ saves because of -1. Oh, these are blade thingy guy. What, they've been failed. Does he explode? He does not. Incredibly resilient, fought valiantly to the end, but could just not withstand the torrent of blows. Yes, I must watch the 6s to wound. Okay. Right, and then against the Marines. Hitting on 2s, all hit. Strength 4, toughness 4, wounding on 4s. The 6s are -2, so save on 5s. 1 pass, 1 fail. And then these save on 3s. Fail. Okay. These guys mean business. Takes a wound. So now it's the Marines' turn to nominate. Actually, no, Drazar fights again because he's a charging unit. But I didn't interrupt him. I did see that point. He hits with all 10 attacks. He wounds with all 10 attacks. 2 saves. He kills the equivalent of 8 intercessors. Right, the LT has 5 attacks, hitting on 2s. Oh, 2 misses. Strength 4, toughness 3, wounding on 3s. 4+ save for the ghost plate. Kills 1. Just 1. Who's he stood next to? This one. No, it's a Dark Lance. Okay. Let's pile these scourges in and fight back. Right, 8 can attack, including the Solarite. 2 attacks each, plus an extra 1 for the Solarite. Hitting on 2s because of the game turn and power from pain. That was a hit. Wounded on 5, strength 3, toughness 4. Oh no. Sorry, that was a hit. 5 saves of 3+. He fails 2. Thankfully, that's not quite as ignominious as it could have been. I think he's got 3 wounds left. I'll check in a second. Oh, stand up, you. You're not. You haven't been drinking. And then 3 attacks from the Slith. Hitting on 3s, all hit. Wounding on 3s, 1 wound. Fails the save. Wasn't that kills 1? Turn 2 for the 3 for the Marines. They only have 4 models remaining. The LT and these 3 tactical Marines. I cannot believe how the Drukhari have turned it round, but I'll talk a bit about that towards the end, because the end is inevitable. We're straight into the fight phase. It's the other guy's turn to pick one, so the Mandrakes are going to pile in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 21. Right, how many have I got? 6, 11. Right, another 10, please, Bob. Hitting on 2s. Wounding on 5s. Right, the 6s are -2, so save on 5s. 5 failed wounds, and this saves on a 4. 6 failed wounds, and that is the unit. Then DLT will try and take down some of these scourges. Doesn't kill any of them, and then they are going to pile in to him in return. This one comes right here and gets in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's now 9, 18, 19, 19. Hitting on 2s. Wounding on 5s. Saves of 3+. Fails 2, 1 wound remaining. And at the end of the battle round 3, the Drukhari control this objective for 2 points, this objective for a point, and this objective for a point, making the score 6-all. And in battle round 4, 1, which is 1. Not that one. One of these others is active that the single Marine is a long way from. So he orders the general retreat, realising that no one else is active on the Vox. And all he can hear in the air is the dark, sinister cackling of the satisfaction of a trap well sprung. And the living Marines, the ones who haven't succumbed to their wounds, the ones who are in healing comas, they are being gathered up and taken back to Commorrogh as prizes for the arenas and the laboratories. And, well, it would have been status for the Archon, but in reality, those who don't care about status are the ones who will reap the rewards. The Cyberite in the Kabbalite warriors is likely to go up in standing. Maybe he can recover his lord's body, maybe he can be healed, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he sticks the knife in. Maybe he takes his place. The machinations of Commorrogh are not for the weak-hearted. But the cult, the cabal of the Flayed Skull have been victorious with their allies. This raiding party has successfully acquired Mon-Keigh, the new Mon-Keigh warriors, to return to Commorrogh, and there was much rejoicing. Well, I say rejoicing, lots of evil cackling and horrible nasty things. Well, what a game. What a game. After turn 1, when the Drukhari hit the brick wall of the Marines, and then the Marines destroyed most of the Drukhari force, I thought it was going to be a very quick game. I thought, I was thinking, oh shoot, this is not going to be very entertaining. The Marines are just going to slap the Drukhari down and that's going to be it. Which is, okay, that could be what the story is, but it doesn't make for an exciting battle report to watch. So I thought, right, let's see what I can do with the Drukhari, how I can turn it up to 11. I don't know if I did turn it up to 11, but yeah, there were so many failed charges. I don't know. I mean, the obvious thing I got very wrong was the Power Fist Gauntlet. But that said, I might have done no better than I did with the sword. Gee whiz. I mean, there are scraps of the Drukhari army left, but there are units that are untouched. The fighter is untouched. This Razorback? This Raider is untouched. The Scourges, it doesn't matter whether they've been touched or not. So there are significant assets left for the Drukhari, but yeah, the Marines have been thoroughly seen off. They thought they were attacking a disparate... they thought they were sneaking up on them. They thought this is where they were launching their raids from, and they would initiate a lightning assault as per the Codex Astartes. They did. It failed. This was a trap. And they triggered it. And they lost. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've enjoyed playing it. A bit of a roller coaster ride. If you're interested in more battle reports or you're interested in supporting me, the best way to do that is by channel memberships. Check out the link below. There's also a video which tells you all about it. There's a Discord, there's battle reports, bunch of stuff. That's mostly it, actually. Chatting in live streams and all that good stuff. So it just remains for me to say thanks for watching. Take care, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.